How's it going, Chiefs Kingdom? You're watching the Legion of Zoomcast with myself, Brad Simcox, and Tom Childs. How are we doing, mate? How's things?
I am good. How are you?
You are good.
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Start of the week. We've got a long week to go, and obviously it's been a long time since we had any Chiefs football, which has been a little bit, I won't say annoying. It's quite nice to have this kind of break, isn't it? But I'm all right. Apparently, you've got some special news to announce, mate. Congratulations.
Yeah, if you, some people might say it's a sentence, but not for me. I proposed to my better half on Friday. Finally.
Yes.
We've been together 10 years now, so
about time.
I made a promise to her that if I went to the Super Bowl, that I would propose to her, and many people were expecting me to do it immediately afterwards or just before the Super Bowl. And no, I made her wait a little bit, and I come good on this promise on Friday, in the hope that if the Chiefs make the Super Bowl in 2 weeks' time, I can go to Tampa. So
you see,
yeah, no chance. No chance. Not a hope in hell. But yeah, she said yes. So we're getting married.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, you mentioned this a good few years ago, doesn't it? About your plan. If the Chiefs ever reached the Super Bowl or won the Super Bowl, you would actually, obviously
only propose. If I could go, mind.
Yeah, only if you could go. But I think it was almost like a get out clause, because at that time the Chiefs didn't look like they were ever going to get to a Super Bowl. So I don't know if you were kind of banking on that, haven't you, mate?
Yeah. I actually first made this promise after the 2-14 season.
Yeah, we'll get married.
I'm just to be clear, I'm not cruel enough or sad enough to let the outcome of a football team season to dictate whether or not I want to marry someone. It just happened to be a running joke, just to clarify.
Yeah. No, it's great news, mate. Really, congratulations on it.
Absolutely, and you're of course being invited to the reception.
The reception, yes.
No, don't be offended. We won't be getting married in England. We'll be getting married abroad somewhere. So on our own.
Right. People in the comments, where should Tom get married? Have you got any places in mind, or are you just at the moment planning stuff?
I think we're not turning this into planning Tom's wedding podcast, but New York probably looks like the place we're going to go. Yeah, New York. Nice. Get married there. It looks easy. It looks really easy to get married in New York. I was expecting it to be like really hard work, but it's not at all. Someone did suggest to me that I should get married in Arrowhead. That isn't going to pass whatsoever. But,
no, I don't think that'll pass, mate. It wouldn't have passed with mine either. Put it that way. No chance. No chance for that. No, it's actually great news, mate. Really good news. Thank you. So we're at the other side now of the Super Wildcard playoff weekend, which is obviously 10 times better than the original wild card because they put Super at the beginning of it. And we've had some good predictions in our previous episode, didn't we, about who we thought were going to get through the next round. Yeah. We only really kind of predicted the AFC side because that's the only side that matters. So we predicted those, and we were quite close with our predictions.
Because between us, we covered every team possible.
We did,
except the Titans.
Exactly.
I had a horrendous weekend.
Yeah.
Let me start again. I had my predictions last weekend were awful. You, on the other hand, did okay. I predicted the Colts to win. They did terrible. I told you the Steelers would beat the Browns and it wouldn't be close. What happened there? I also predicted that the Ravens would beat the hell out of the Titans and it wouldn't be a close game. Okay, I got the winner right, but I didn't get the close game right. A bit right. So,
and you're the guy that works for Arrowhead Pride.
No.
You're the professional here.
You tell me, man. I only work here.
Yeah, so I had a really, really bad weekend predicting the AFC playoffs. So whatever I say at the end of this show, just completely disregard it. Please do.
As Tom alluded to there, the scores, they weren't particularly close in the game that we thought was going to be a very low scoring game. Was the Steelers versus the Browns, wasn't it? I mean, I predicted the Browns were going to win only because I had a gut feeling. I didn't have any kind of there was no reason for me to actually pick the Browns because I think the head coach was under COVID restrictions. There's a couple of players out. It just everything was stacked against the Browns, wasn't it? And
did you see the? Sorry to interrupt. Did you see that guy in the stand who had a mask and he had glasses and he had a hat on, and there was loads of memes going around that it was Kevin Stefanski just sat in the stand.
I didn't see him. No,
it's great. Look it up. Probably put it over the top of this, but yeah, it's great. Have a guy just sitting like that. Just hide it.
God, man, I'll have to look for that. Definitely.
That's the funny thing about COVID, right? Not there's many funny things about COVID, but like now you can just like go out. Like if it's raining outside, you obviously go out, you put your hood up, and you've got a mask over your face, so everyone automatically looks like a criminal because they're covering everything. Like now is the perfect time to go out and commit crimes. Like I'm not endorsing that message, but
Tom is inciting
now if you want to, you'll get away with stuff right now.
America doesn't need any encouragement at the minute for inciting riots and stuff. So let's just just keep a lid on that. I think I was a bit more successful in the teams that were going to win, but scoreline wise and stuff like that, obviously we were well out of it. What was the game for you that you thought this is a brilliant game? This is what the wildcard playoffs are all about.
Yeah, I reckon. Well, let's go straight into the good, the bad, and the ugly because one of my goods actually leads to that. So I'm going to introduce the good, the bad, and the ugly this week. My good, you asked me what game typified the playoffs, and that was Colts versus Bills. The game I was most worried about because the gap in quality between the second and the seventh seed could have been too much, but it was anything but. I thought the Colts could make it a game, but I was just really talking out my arse there, to be honest. If I'm being honest, I was more out of hope than expectation. But that game was brilliant. It was such a good way to kick off the playoffs. It had absolutely everything. The Colts played such a good game and played well enough to win. They just didn't finish that game. The Bills are lucky to still be in this. They really, really are. There was a couple terrible coaching decisions by Mike Vrabel, it must be added, which actually ties in with my ugly and my bad. But just overall, it was just an excellent game, and it went down to the final minute. Like even the drama at the end with the fumble, was it not a fumble? Did he touch his back? Did he not touch his back before he punched the ball out? Good, like that lasted about 10 minutes of just reviews of just like, and I know every Chiefs fan wanted the Bills to lose that game. 100%. They don't want to face the Bills next week. If we have to, we deal with it. But ideally, we want to avoid teams like the Bills. And just sitting there waiting for that review to come through. And then when it come through that they were going with a call on the field, which I think was correct, by the way. I stand alone on this. I do think it's correct because they took 10 minutes to get to a decision, which means it's not clear and obvious, is it?
Good point. Yeah, even though it was obvious.
Yeah, maybe in your opinion, but
it was obvious. Come on.
But then, obviously they got the decision that they wanted, and I got all excited. And then I remembered who was under centre for the Colts, and I thought, what's the point of playing the last 59 minutes? Because this guy, he's not going to get it done. He never has been. He's never got it done. People like to call him a Hall of Famer. Here I go. I'm going off on the phone.
I was wondering how long it was going to take. Yeah,
I've set myself off. On Philip Rivers Hall of Fame case, which I will tear to pieces. We'll save that for another podcast. But the moral of the story was that when the Colts needed Phil Rivers to deliver, yet again, he couldn't.
He couldn't deliver.
Now that's me done for Phil Rivers until we do an entire podcast on tearing apart his Hall of Fame case.
I was actually predicting he was going to throw his compulsory interceptions, right? You know, when he has to be in a clutch moment, he has to be, clutch in that particular time, driving his team down the field. He normally throws a pick, doesn't he?
Yeah, someone actually tweeted out, do the Bills want to borrow Dan Sorensen for this drive? I don't know who it was. I'll find the tweet and I'll put it across, but yeah.
No, I'm with you on the Rivers thing, but like I said, that's for a different episode. It'll take all episode just to obviously state our case for that, for he's not a Hall of Fame class. But anyway,
no, it won't. It will take me about 5 minutes.
So the good for me was obviously I've got Taylor Heineke. Heineke. Some people call him Heineken. Him coming in, leading the Washington team, the way he did against Tom Brady. He didn't look out of place, did he? Heineken.
No, the Heineken didn't look out of place.
He didn't look out of place, and he actually went toe to toe with Tom Brady, I thought. Which
for the most part, yeah. Tom Brady's been playing very well this year. By the way, another side story, he's been good, but
one of them was an XFL player.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. Very true.
So
the story of the Washington football team's quarterback room this year is borderline unbelievable. What's happened in that room? Like, just all the guys that they've just thrown at it. And then obviously you throw in the Alex Smith story and then the cutting of Dwayne Haskins as well. It's just, it's crazy. Like, I hadn't heard of this geezer before Saturday night.
No, I mean, any of us did.
He's making plays all over. I can't remember him being in the XFL. He obviously was. I don't remember seeing him playing it.
No.
And that's probably more due to the fact that I didn't watch much of it myself. But the football team, no one expected them to score points.
No.
Not without Alex Smith there. And they did. It was a semi-close game. It wasn't a blowout. I would say the Buccaneers were comfortable.
Yeah.
For the most part. But Heineke, he looked good. Will he be there next year? I don't know. Will he be a starting quarterback in the league? Probably not. But it was a fun playoff story.
Yeah. And it harps on to what you were saying last week about Darwin Thompson put something on film, something on tape for other teams to look at. Maybe the Washington football team keep hold of him. Maybe they try and move him on for some picks, like late round draft picks or something like that. Who knows? But he seemed to really, give himself an opportunity. And I think he took it. He took it. It's a shame Alex Smith couldn't play that game, and apparently it's on his mind again what he's going to do after this, because clearly that leg is really giving him problems.
Yeah.
And what do Washington football team do next? They spent a lot of money on Alex Smith, quite rightly. He's a good player. You fork that out for a good quarterback, but you now think, is this Heineke going to be actually getting the starting job next year? Who knows? So I thought it was a good story, and like you said, it was a good playoff story that it kept everything interesting, didn't it?
Definitely.
Should we go on to the bad?
No, I've got one more good.
We got one more good. You got two goods. Bonus good.
I've got one more good. I didn't get to see the broadcast in its entirety myself because Game Pass over here wouldn't put it on, and Nickelodeon channel over here wouldn't put NFL on. Stupid Nickelodeon over here. But the Nickelodeon broadcast, the bits I've seen of it, looked incredible.
They do look good, don't they?
How fun is that? And whoever come up with that idea is a genius. It really is. Like, at the end of the day, football is an entertainment business. Sport is entertainment. Okay, there's a lot of people's livelihoods that are involved in it, but the core thing for sport is to entertain people, isn't it? And they just managed to nail it. They really, really did. The cherry on the top, though, was Mitch Trubisky winning the Nickelodeon Valuable Player Award, which was just like the ultimate piss take. Really?
It's the biggest prize in sport. That's what you're trying to say.
And I just thought it was excellent. For even like young Sheldon, and I'm not a Big Bang Theory fan in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But, even like introducing him, having all the slime, it was just fun. And like, I hope it's something that they continue to do. Not every week, but just every month or so. Why not? Why not Nickelodeon? Just throw more games out there.
It looked like good fun whenever they scored a touchdown. The slime graphics coming up, weren't they, spraying into the end zone and stuff. And if they were spiking the ball down, it was making some kind of like sparks, like stars and stuff. And if they're all hugging each other, there was hearts everywhere and stuff, wasn't there? It was great. It was good fun. And I think if you're watching it, or if you're wanting to introduce your son or daughter into the American football way, let's say, and you want to make it interesting for them, sit down and watch that with them. You know. It's something, obviously, with your kids when they're growing up. You know, hopefully the Nickelodeon will have the games on over here so we can actually watch them live.
Yeah.
But you know, it was fun because it takes the mick out of the players where they got the big goggly eyes and stuff. Yeah. It just seemed really fun. But apparently there was one little mishap, wasn't there?
What the fuck?
You don't hear about this?
No.
Where there was an F-bomb.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. There was a microphone on the sideline, and I think it was a call, and it was, you know, the videos or the cameras were on the referee, and you could hear on the sideline.
Go on. What was said?
What the fudge? Just plain as day on Nickelodeon.
It'd be quite funny though, because you can imagine like parents up and down America were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that language." Quit acting like you've not said worse in front of your kids before, because we all know you have. We've both got kids. We know what it's like.
When you stub your toe on the corner of the bed and you know the air's blue and all that. Yeah.
My worst is driving. I say some horrible things while I drive, and I just completely forget that I've got the two little boys sitting in the background.
Just while we're talking now, I'm just having a look on the Mitch Trubisky Wikipedia page.
Okay.
I'm trying to find if the MVP award for the Nickelodeon Most Valuable Player is on there, and sadly, it's not.
Oh,
I think somebody needs to put it on there. He's got a Pro Bowl on there, 2018, third team All ACC, and Mr. Football Award, Ohio, 2012.
Okay. Well, guess we'll have to add it.
No MVP, so we'll have to add that later.
Well, whilst we're on the subject of Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears, that leads into my bad.
Good.
Two terrible, terrible offenses were on display this weekend. The Chicago Bears and the Seattle Seahawks.
They're my bad, the Seahawks.
We all know that the Bears offense is bad. And we know Mitchell Trubisky is bad. But Russell Wilson was cooking at the start of the season. What's happened to him?
I don't know what it was. It just seemed as though playoffs got to them, didn't it?
It's not even playoffs. They haven't played well as an offense in about 6 weeks. No, I just don't understand why they've moved away from Russell Wilson. Yeah, he had a couple of bad games in the middle of the year, but to move away from him, he was playing like the MVP at the start of the year. He was playing at probably the highest level of quarterback play he's done since he's been in the league. Mm-hmm. Yet they shelved him, kind of. I just don't understand it. And then Pete Carroll comes out afterwards and says, we need to run the ball more next year. What?
You've got Russell Wilson.
You've got, imagine Andy Reid coming out and saying, yeah, we've got the best player of all time under center, but next year we need to give more snaps to Damian Williams or Darrell Williams.
Crazy, isn't it?
Get with the times, Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
There is a time and a place for running the football, and I do like running the football. I still think it's relevant. But when you have one of these God-tier type quarterbacks, which Russell Wilson is in, you need to make him count. Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, a couple of others probably. They are too good to not put the ball in their hands and trust them to win a game. Yes, the Rams defense is very good, and Aaron Donald looked like he was going on a tear up. At one point, I feared for Derek Thomas's sack record, to be honest, because he had 2 sacks inside the first 5 minutes or whatever it was, and he thought, oh, here we go. But nonetheless, let Russ cook, because Russ cooking is entertaining.
Yeah.
But again,
it is. It's entertaining.
And the play calling just got in his way. I don't get it. I just don't understand how you could be happy as a Seahawks fan watching them waste Russell Wilson every single year like they do. Yeah,
they should have been more productive than they really have. And I mean, I know that they're saying that apparently the O-line is terrible as well. But
that's been a problem in Seattle since the beginning of time. They've had a terrible O-line. Why haven't they addressed
would you run the ball more if you have a terrible O-line as well?
I don't know.
Surely you would try and remove that as part of the game. You would want to, like you said, pass the ball more. Even use screens if you need to, just to get that out of the way. But Russell Wilson, I agree with you. I mean, he's being completely wasted there. And to me, he looks frustrated.
Wouldn't you be?
Yeah. He's one of those generational talents that we want to succeed. We want him to do well because, like you said, he's entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've got an old style kind of head coach there that doesn't see what he's got, then you start questioning. Is it time to really move on from Pete Carroll?
That's what people will be thinking.
Well, I know,
especially after those quotes, mate. Not necessarily after the game, but after those quotes for sure. If he's going to carry on like that next year, then he might be calling a bluff. But what good is that kind of quote in January? You're just going to annoy people for the entire off season. You're a Seattle fan now. You're sitting there thinking for the next 8-9 months about how our offense is going to go through Chris Carson and not Russell Wilson.
Right. Should we go on to the ugly?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, the ugly for me was that horrible hit on John Walford. I mean, bless him, he got his chance, he got his opportunity, and he gets put in an ambulance, literally. And he had to go to a hospital there and then because of that hit. But the ugly side of this for me was the refs didn't. I mean, apparently they threw the flag and then picked it up and just chalked it off. Just like forget about it, that kind of thing. It was one of those things. I mean, to me, that looked like targeting.
Yeah,
I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not really a thing in the NFL.
No, but
if it was college, then he would have been. They would have been. I can't remember who the Rams defender was, but he would have been Rams defender. No, Seahawks defender.
Seahawks defender.
Seahawks defender would have been ejected for sure.
But I mean, the hit on him. I mean, he was going down. He wasn't going anywhere. He was going down. His head was going forward, and it's almost like he leaned the shoulder into it and really kind of jarred his head and jarred his neck. And
unnecessary.
And you start thinking, was it planned because they knew that Jared Goff wasn't playing and he was on the sideline because he had 9 fingers, didn't he? Well. Yeah, 8 fingers and 1 thumb.
Jared Goff, who's now from Norfolk.
Yeah. But and I mean, it almost forced them to obviously put Jared Goff back in, didn't it? And I mean, if anything, I think that's probably what helped them win the game in the end. They're putting Goff back in. Hopefully, he's okay. It's nothing too serious, but that was a big ugly for me on that one. I don't know what was yours, mate.
I alluded to it earlier. Just terrible coaching decisions all round this weekend. Pete Carroll, Mike Tomlin, Mike
Tomlin.
All guilty of some god-awful decisions when it comes to field position and punting.
Yeah.
I was worried a few years ago that Andy Reid wasn't going to cotton onto all of this because it looked like there was a point where he was punting in situations which now he would never punt in. And I'm kind of glad that he's been open-minded enough and got with the times to know when to punt and when not to punt. Like now the Chiefs, if they're anything past their own 40, if it's 4th and less than 3, more than likely they're going to go for it. It's rare to see them punt these days. But Mike Vrabel, he's punt, what was it, 4th and 2 from the 40 or the 42? The Bills 42? I saw something that it was the most cowardly punt since 1994 or something. It was just, it made no sense whatsoever in that situation. And then Mike Tomlin.
Tomlin bottled that.
You're down 2 scores in the 4th quarter and you're punting in that situation.
On 4th and 1?
4th and 1. Like, I was listening to my guys earlier and Craig Stout was saying how Ben's big enough, just quarterback sneak it. And yeah, he's right.
Is right. Yeah.
He's right. Like, why not in that situation? Ben was playing terrible. Let's be fair. He had a bad game. He threw for 500 yards, but he had a bad game. But
he knew it as well. But I mean, it all started from that very awful snap, right? The very first play of the game. And it happened later on.
It reminded me of the Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it flew over Peyton Manning.
Yeah. That was funny.
That was funny, that one. Yeah, I quite enjoyed that one. But I mean, it happened quite a few times. The center, for some reason, started snapping it really high. I mean, I think there was another two after that first one, where Roethlisberger had to literally kind of pick it out of the air like that. It should be around about here, shouldn't it? But he was almost on his tiptoes trying to get it. Whatever was going on with their center, nobody knows. But that just set the tone of the game, didn't it? From the very, very start.
Yeah, certainly the first quarter.
Yeah, and then literally starting to throw all those picks, and it got into Ben's head. I mean, yeah, valiant effort to try and sort it out later on in the game, and it did look at one point that everybody was going, "Oh my God, the Browns are going to really kind of stink now, aren't they? They're gonna let them back in," and it did look like the Steelers were on their way back. But the Browns did the job.
The Browns be the Browns.
The Browns, yeah, the Browns were the Browns, weren't they?
Yeah.
But I mean, credit to them. They took the opportunities, all five of them, when they came. So yeah, credit to them for obviously getting the first playoff win in God knows how long. I think I said before the last playoff win was probably when bread was invented or something. I think it was, wasn't it? But yeah, fair play to them. Let's move on to the uniform cool wall. Right, on this week's uniform cool wall, which is a fan favourite, let's say.
People disagree with us a lot, by the way.
Yeah, they do, don't they? But that's what we like. We like the engagement. We like people going, "You're absolutely crazy for putting that uniform there and that uniform there." But we deliberate it. We put our views across, and we come up with the uniform cool wall. It's our uniform cool wall.
It's not your uniform cool wall. If you don't like yours, it, find another show with a cool wall. Please don't find another show.
But obviously this week. We put on the Twitter page, on the Legion of Zoomcast Twitter page, which team would you like us to do next on the uniform cool wall, which is a Florida team. So it was either between Jags, the Bucks, or the Finns. And 58% of the vote was the Finns, Dolphins. Now, we're just going to do the main uniform on this, aren't we? We're not going to go through any more throwbacks or anything like that, but we're just going to do the main Miami Dolphins uniform. I think I'll go first with this because I believe the Miami Dolphins uniform is a favorite of mine. It's one of the best ones out there, right? Now, yeah, I know a lot of people don't like the color and they don't like it's it's got the dolphin color and stuff, but for me, it's the only uniform in the NFL that the style of it represents the city or the place perfectly. It represents it perfectly. The color, they're like the teal kind of aqua color, green, whatever it was. That for me is a Miami color.
Okay.
It looks like Miami in the 80s, like Miami Vice and all that kind of thing. For me, that is the uniform that represents Miami. It couldn't be any other color. It couldn't be any other color. It couldn't be any other style. It has to be that. It's unique. Again,
it is.
If you look at if you think of the Miami Dolphins, you think of that teal kind of uniform, aqua uniform. It's bright, it's vibrant, and it's everything that represents Miami. That's my case put forward. So I think it should go in cool.
Wow. Only cool.
Yeah, I think cool, yeah.
Okay. Well, you put together an excellent argument, I must say. You've done really well there. And it's probably like the best bit of I don't know how to say this, but it's the best case so far either of us have put forward for any uniform. Like, it sounds like you scripted that. It was good. It was good. And I was ready to say yes to whatever you were going to put that, by the way.
All right. Okay.
I was ready. You know, Miami holds a soft spot in my heart. So I quite like the uniform myself. Yeah. I do like it. It's certainly unique, as you say. And if you want to chuck it in cool, Brad, I'm with you.
Or should I put it in Sub-Zero?
It's up to you. We don't want that getting too full.
We don't want to get it. Let's put it in cool for now.
Okay, cool.
Let's put it in cool for now.
Yeah.
Because I do believe there's better uniforms than that one.
Yeah. But your point about it representing Miami, perfect. Like, I've never been to Cleveland, but I can imagine that the brown color uniform does represent Cleveland perfectly.
You're getting the digs in straight away.
That's just smack talk. I don't actually mean that. That's just smack talk.
As Mr. Sherman knows, it's not talking smack if you can back it up.
So you're kind of agreeing with me. I thought you were going to go, it's horrible, it's ridiculous. I don't know why they've chosen a dolphin and da-da-da-da-da.
No, it's good.
But you seem okay.
It's a nice uniform. It's nice.
Yeah?
Yeah. And your argument for the Miami Vice, everything like that, yeah, you've sold me. Let's put it in cool.
And we have a soft spot for Miami as well, don't we?
We do.
Yeah. So we're agreed. Brilliant. Right. So the Browns are making a trip to Arrowhead Stadium on Sunday to play the Chiefs in the divisional playoff round. And we are going to put together our ones to watch. Right, Tom, after the Browns' performance against the Steelers, who's your one to watch from the Browns?
Before I go on to a player, I think the stands is going to be one to watch, by the way.
Yeah?
Because rumour has it that the Browns are buying tickets like they're going out of fashion.
Yeah,
the Browns weren't expecting to be here at all. And now they are. They're going to make the most of it. So it'd be interesting to see how many Browns fans, what the split's like between Kansas City and Cleveland on Sunday. I hope it's not like that Vikings game last year where it was half purple. But if it is, it is. It's a lot of money to spend to go and watch your team lose. That is true. That is for sure. But my one to watch, players-wise, Terrence Mitchell, old friend alert. Hello.
Yeah.
Not a very good cornerback. I'm just looking forward to seeing him loads because we are going to see him loads because Tyreek Hill and co are going to burn him. Simple as that.
So we're going to see the back of him.
Sorry, I'm not deep diving into it, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing all the Cleveland Brown corners on Sunday. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's no secret. I think the defensive backs of the Browns aren't particularly well suited. I don't think, especially to this high flying Chiefs offense.
Denzel Ward will be back. Denzel Ward's back, and he's a good player. But one good corner is not enough to stop the Chiefs offense.
No, definitely not. Well, my one to watch for the Browns is actually one of our old guys again, Kareem Hunt. He had a great game against the Steelers. He's looked good as more of a receiving threat more than anything else. And I think paired up with Nick Chubb and his running game, I think Kareem Hunt's going to have a bit of a time. And he's clearly hyped up for this. I think we've all seen the video now of him in the locker room after the Steelers game where he said, "This is personal."
Weird flex, by the way.
Yeah?
Weird flex playing the victim card there, but, you know.
It is a bit weird and a bit strange, but he did kind of redeem himself later on, I think, in the press conference that he had, where, you know, he was given a bit more respect, I think, to the Chiefs organization at that point.
I get it. He's hyped up. Like, It's just come off a massive win. It must be hard to bring yourself from such a high. But, I'm sure he didn't mean what he said. Or if he did, he's got it all wrong. So
again, spur of the moment thing, isn't it? Like you were saying, he's hyped up, he's excited, he's looking forward to returning to Arrowhead as well. And he still speaks to some of the guys in the team as well, which is great. But yeah, I can understand where he's coming from. He's looking at it as the Chiefs are enemies to him now. We're also looking at it now as he's an enemy to us now. And you know, when the gloves are off, who's going to win at the end of the day? That's the thing. So I think for me, it's going to be tantalizing to watch Kareem Hunt in this game. I didn't really want to play against Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb together. I think the Chiefs are going to be a little bit overrun.
Do you think it's going to matter? Like, in all seriousness, like, I'll just get onto our ones to watch for the Chiefs. We've both gone for receivers. I've gone for Sammy Watkins. You've gone for Tyreek Hill. And so, spoiler alert. But with them two and this Chiefs offense and how easy it's going to be for the Chiefs to score points, is Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt going to matter? Probably not.
Depends how the linebackers play, doesn't it?
Yeah, but running the ball is fine, but running the ball when you're down isn't great. And if the Chiefs get up early, which I think they will, because they're not going to make the same mistakes that Ben Roethlisberger made. That's not happening.
Touch wood.
Patrick Mahomes is not turning the ball over 5 times. It's just not happening. So in that situation, you expect the Chiefs to light up the scoreboard. And if they do light the scoreboard up, then Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb aren't going to mean anything. It's going to be Baker Mayfield versus Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be that game that we've seen on our Twitter feeds over and over for the last 2 years whenever Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes are mentioned in the same sentence, that Texas Tech versus Oklahoma game.
Yeah, that's
what it's going to be like. Only this time, Patrick Mahomes has the better defense on his side, and he definitely has the better offense. So I just can't see a situation where Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are going to matter unless the Cleveland Browns defense turns into something that we've not seen. This team lost to the Jets literally 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They're a good side. They're not a great side. And we've seen good sides beat Kansas City, like the Raiders, but they had to have the game of their life and the Chiefs had to be off. The Chiefs aren't going to be off this weekend. I cannot wait to see playoff Sammy, by the way, because it's become a running joke now, isn't it, that playoff Sammy is like a completely different player to regular season Sammy. But it's true. It really is. The last 2 postseasons, Sammy Watkins has been very, very good. Let's see if it carries on this year, because regular season Sammy Watkins this year wasn't great. Let's be honest. You look at the numbers, they're not impressive. Yes, he makes a difference being out there because he allows other guys to get their touches and get their fill. But we need to see some production from Sammy Watkins, and I think we're going to see it this weekend.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, obviously, my one to watch, what Tom said there, was obviously Tyreek Hill. I think you're right. I think we both looked at the wide receiving core there and thought, you know what, they're going to have a field day against these defensive backs of the Browns. And yeah, you might. I think you might be right in the Sammy Watkins side of things, because he's not the one that you think of instantly, do you? If you're the Browns defense, you look at Kelsey, you look at Hill, and you try and neutralize those threats. And I think you're right. I think this game will probably open up for a lot more for Sammy, but I think Tyreek's going to have a something to say in this game as well.
Big time.
It'd be interesting to see how it goes. But let's get on to the predictions so we can go a bit more deeper into this.
I've got a prediction for us. We're going to get drunk on a Sunday night. I've come up with a mini drinking game specifically for Chiefs versus Browns, and we're going to put it across the screen now. So you should be seeing now the drinking game that we've come up for this weekend.
These are great.
My personal favourites are Tony Romo predicting a play. That's worth half a drink. Ben Neiman making a play has 2 drinks. Baker being sacked, 3 cups. Anytime that Jim Nantz mentions the fact that Travis Kelce is from Ohio, 3 drinks. And we've got a few more in there. Chiefs touchdowns, that's two gulps. That's going to be heavy going, let's be honest.
Especially if it's like 50-point game.
2 big gulps of a drink every time the Chiefs score a touchdown. Then you've got at least 2 pints there that's going down your neck on Sunday night. So, take a look at this. Take a screenshot. We'll probably tweet it out. If you want to play this game with us, send us a selfie whilst you're playing it. And let's see how many drinks we can get down our necks on Sunday night.
No, I think one of my favourite ones is, where is it? Oh, where have I found it here? Baker gets sacked, 3 gulps. If we see Frank Clark and Chris Jones on form, they again could be quite drunk after this. It could be quite drunk indeed. But talking about the Browns, it'd be interesting to see what their game plan is going to be on this, because I think Baker Mayfield's going to want to make a statement game in this and try and have a bit of a toe-to-toe shootout with Patrick Mahomes, like you said, like the old days. But then, to me, that would be crazy because when you've got two running threats in Hunt and Chubb, they've clearly got to stick to that first, surely.
They're going to try that first, 100%. Yeah. They're going to try and shorten the game and keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, like everyone says you have to do all the time. But it's not going to work because it needs to come hand in hand with a defensive display, which he's not going to get out of Cleveland. Baker Mayfield is going to have the game of his life for the Browns to go through to the next round. It's simple as that. And I don't trust the guy to do it. Who have they got catching the ball? Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper, Peoples-Jones. They haven't got weapons. They've got a couple of guys that they might trust, but not guys that you can consistently lean on in a shootout. It's just not going to happen for the Browns. It really was the best possible matchup for the Chiefs. And I'm delighted that they got their win, first and foremost, because I like the Browns. I likened them to us a few years ago. They're on that cusp now where they could be great, and let's see how they progress in the next few years. But their fairy tale ends here, and it ends in Arrowhead. And that's why I'm going for a Chiefs 51, Browns 31 scoreline. A repeat of last year's divisional round, by the way.
That's still a bit of a shootout.
Oh, yeah, 100%. There'd be points galore. Whatever the over is, hammer it. And I know I've not been very good at predictions, but whatever the over is, absolutely hammer that over. But I'm going for the same scoreline as the divisional round last year, 51-31.
Wow. That's, quite confident in that then.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Andy Reid off a bye, Patrick Mahomes, who's had to listen to all this crap that people have been talking about last few weeks about how certain quarterbacks are better, how the Chiefs aren't as good as everyone's saying. He's going to come out. They're going to light the scoreboard up.
Yeah. I'm going to go 41-24.
Okay, nice. I still like that scoreline.
It's...
we won't be as drunk, but I still like it.
I think you're right. I think the Chiefs will get into a lead and then they'll again, it's almost like they'll shut the game down third quarter. And towards the end of the third quarter, they'll shut it down, hit the run game, and there'll be some garbage time touchdowns, I think, from the Browns just to get everybody a little bit, fired up with a heart attack again. But I don't think it's going to be a close game. I'm hoping it's not a close game. You're going to get a lot of these pundits now who are going to be going, well, the Browns have sorted out the Steelers. Look at how many points they racked up on them. When you think about it, they had 5 turnovers. You should be winning the game with 5 turnovers anyway. I'm with you on that. I think it's going to be the Chiefs are just going to teach them a lesson, kind of quash them a little bit on this, and then we'll find out who we actually play moving on into the AFC Championship game. Is it going to be the Ravens? Is it going to be the Bills? Right, before we go, just to let you know that Tom's been working very hard on the new Legion of Zoomcast YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button on that. We'll put a link, obviously, in this video. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon as well so you'll be notified when the next video is uploaded. Tom, great work on that, mate.
Thank you.
Loving what you've done with that. Yeah.
Thank you. I love what you've done with the place.
I love what you've done with the place. There's other things as well we're going to be doing, isn't there? I think you're going to be doing an Instagram page and stuff.
Maybe. Just chuck some highlights up on there.
In the future, you never know. So, but anyway, thanks very much for watching, everyone, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Bye.